What's going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Wednesday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings 7-round mock draft. Now, what we've generally done is we've gone a little bit more in depth than in previous years on all of the picks, and we like changing things up too. Yeah, we have some crossover, some picks. We got our guys, our crushes, of course, but it's a good exercise for us and for you, the viewers, to get exposed to a couple more of the draft prospects than it's out on the media on TV right now. So, of course, as we do with all of our mocks, there has to be rules here. So, our scenario, and I feel like this is my gut feeling right now. I feel like Kirk Cousins is back. I feel like JJ's extended. I feel like Daniil walks. I think those three happen up at the top. Then Reisner resigned, want him back. Hicks, Powell are resigned. Harrison retires. It is what it is. But then for agency, the Vikings really go hard in the paint at corner with Xavier Howard as well as Sean Murphy-Bunting. Now, the thing about it is, like, both those guys will not break the bank. Like, it would not be in the realm of a Jalen Johnson or L'Jarius Sneed contract if they did hit open free agency. Also, to help supplement on the edge with Wanham, Bryce Huff comes over from the New York Jets, signed him to a pretty decent premium contract. So let's dive on in. So the Vikings, even with Kirk on a 2-year deal, they could still go for quarterback of the future. They could do a lot of things. So let's fire things up. Do have a need along the defensive line, though. All along the watchtower. So let's see what happens at the top. Now, generally, it's been a little bit wild here on PFF, but Williams, May, Harrison, Neighbors, Cooper DeJean, Brock Bowers, Odunze, Murphy, Wiggins, Fuaga. Now, it's kind of crazy that Alt and Fashanu are both available, so we're just going to ignore that. I think it's unlikely they fall out of the top 10. Same thing with Jaden Daniels. So at 11, we are going to stick and pick and take J.J. McCarthy. Now, I understand. Well, why are you reaching for him here? Again, the team's big boards are going to be way different than PFF, and I think J.J. McCarthy is almost a lock to go in the top 11 picks, if you catch my drift, but 6'3", 205, and yes, he only threw for 2,991 yards, but 22 touchdowns, 4 picks, but you love the accuracy, you love the arm talent when Harbaugh allowed him to throw, you love what he can do off of play action, you love what he can do off script, you do love his mobility as well, and it checks the boxes for what O'Connell and Kwesi have talked about that they want in a quarterback, where he can make plays off script, he does have accuracy, he goes through his progressions well, and him being 21, he does have room to grow and show, and sitting behind Kirk for a year, maybe 2, I think would certainly be beneficial for him. So we are going to select him as a future franchise quarterback. I kind of feel good already. Make me feel good. Into the second round. So a couple options here. So Chop Robinson. I really love me some Chop Robinson, but Darius Robinson is also there. Now, I think that both of them could flirt with getting into the back end of the first round, and stylistically, they're two completely different edge rushers, where Darius Robinson is basically a defensive tackle who played a little bit of edge rusher this year. Chop Robinson, super light, super Dwight Freeney adjacent type player, but we're going to go with Darius Robinson in this simulation. So Darius Robinson is 6'5", 290. Last year, 42 pressures, 8.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, first team all SEC. Now, he had been a defensive tackle, and then they kicked him out to the edge, where he is perfect. He is perfect for what the Vikings want to do at 4-tech, 5-tech, where in any pass rush you get from them is a plus, but be stout against the run, help set the edge, as well as take on blockers and free up your linebackers and edge rushers. That's exactly what the Vikings want. And Robinson, given his versatility, I think will be a versatile threat for Flores, which is great. He's already got an NFL-ready frame, absolute power player. He is stout. He will hold up at the line of scrimmage. And he's not twitchy, he's not bendy, but you have to know that going in. And I do think that he has room to grow as a pass rusher, but absolute power to his game. And I think that he is a tentpole type player as the Vikings look to suture up that defensive line. Into the fourth round, pick 109 and feeling fine eventually. All right, so you got McCarthy, you got Darius Robinson already. I'm already feeling good. I'm already loving life. Things are good. So now, all right, so we're sitting here trying to find ourselves. We get behind ourselves. We try to rewind ourselves. So, unfortunately, wanted Dwayne Carter, all heart and hustle coming out of Duke, but it is what it is. Now, you could take Estime power running back. Melton is on the board too if you want to double and triple down there at corner. Bo Limmer is also there, except is he a little bit too much in the same mold as Garrett Bradbury? It's possible. Braylon Allen, obviously a power running back. McKinley Jackson, we've talked about. Actually, do we want to just get back into the McKinley Jackson business? So McKinley Jackson, 6'2", 331. Great blend of strength and also a very good first step for a nose tackle. So with Darius Robinson as well as McKinley Jackson in that mix, I mean, the Vikings defensive line is back. We are back, baby. Screw it. Damn the torpedoes. Damn everyone. We're doing it, baby. I kind of like it. So Mo Kamara is still there, just winking at us. Let's see. Mo Kamara is there. Let's see here. I mean, we could go Kamara. We already got a quarterback of the future. Just take Christian Boyd, too. Really double and triple down. There, DJ James is super interesting. Cooper Beebe and BB accessories. I mean, do we go that route? I mean, we certainly could. But in terms of replacing Daniil, I do think that it would take a village. So Mo Kamara coming in, where Darius Robinson I don't see as an edge rusher per se. I see him more as a defensive interior type player. But Mo Kamara, undersized, quick first step. I do think that the comps between him and Unique the Freak Ngakoue are applicable in this spot, and he's a guy who could certainly help himself this week at the Combine. So we're going with Kamara. So basically, you got Bryce Huff, Bryce Huff as well as Wanham, and now you got Mo Kamara on the edge trying to replace Daniil, which, I mean, it can work out. We'll see. Now into what round are we in? 5th round, pick 148. So sitting here, just chilling. Actually, 145. My bad. But Zach Zenter. So I feel like if Zenter would have stayed healthy and he didn't have that lower leg injury, he probably would have been a round 3 pick. But the Vikings getting him here in the 5th round is huge value. He's 6'6", 322, 76 PFF grade last year for the Michigan Wolverines, national champions. 5 pressures, 0 sacks allowed. Was great in the run game as well. He's got size, he's got versatility, can block man, can block gap, can do everything that the Michigan running game asked him to do. Also great at pulling, like he's a freight train out there. High football IQ, good communicator along the offensive line. Also, you saw the way that teammates just rallied around him when he got injured. So he's a leader. He's well loved in the locker room, and I think that he's absolutely great value here in the 5th round for the Vikings. I kind of love it. Kind of love what's happening right now. All right, so now a couple things going on here. So the Vikings, I mean, we could go with Dylan Johnson. We could go with Miles Murphy. We could go with Cedric Gray. Jaheim Bell is here. Drake Nugent. I mean, we could just double down on the Michigan offensive line because we got McCarthy and we got Zenter. So why not get Drake Nugent? Yeah, probably not. I know that Joe Milton has a big time arm. I just don't believe in him long term. But the Vikings need a little bit more power in the running game. So Dylan Johnson out of Washington, 6 foot 218. Last year ran for 1,189 yards and 16 touchdowns. So now he was originally at Mississippi State, went to Washington, and had a great season with Penix and Adunze and company. And he's a tough runner, and he can be zone or gap. You can do whatever you want, as well as he's relatively clean at pass protection. Plus, he averaged 5.1 yards per carry. Also had 3 yards per carry after contact. So he's got good balance, and I think that he would do really good things in the Vikings offense with Ty Chandler, with Madison sprinkled in there, and maybe a little bit of Dwayne McBride. All right, so next up. Now, we're still in the 5th round, I believe. Yeah, pick 166. So we're going to go. Do we just triple down on this defensive line? I mean, we could in this spot. Or Cedric Gray is just there chilling, looking at us. But I feel like even with Brandon Powell back, the Vikings do have some need at wide receiver. A little bit of depth needed there, especially with KJ Osborne likely leaving in free agency, and you don't know what you're going to get with Naylor. You don't know what you get with Tristan Jackson. So, yes, the bloodlines, you want it. Luke McCaffrey, 6'2", $198 out of Rice. So last year, 71 catches, 992, and 13 touchdowns, 80.1 PFF grade. Originally was a quarterback at Nebraska, transferred to Rice to play wide receiver. And yeah, son of Ed, a brother of Christian. That really doesn't matter. What he is adept at is attacking the middle of that field, being a really solid underneath possession receiver. So I think that him in the 5th round is really good in this spot. And then into the 6th, pick 179 and feeling fine. Just here chilling. And I know what you're thinking. Like we're rebuilding the trenches, especially that defensive line. We have the meats. We are back. And we try to switch things up and get different players, but Brennan Jackson is a guy that is always on my radar, and love his length, love his size. Immediately, he's going to be extremely good against the run. And also, Brennan Jackson, Darius Robinson are going to be your starting 4-tech, 5-techs right away at the 3-4 defensive ends. So I kind of love it. I kind of love it. Well, maybe not day one, but down the line in the future. And the Vikings with McKinley and Robinson and now Brennan Jackson, I kind of like the way that the defensive line is shaping up, and that's priority 1 for the Vikings. Lastly, so the 7th round, I do like taking just a linebacker, all heart, all hustle. So Dallas Gant out of Toledo. He's 6'2", 224. So yes, it does fit with the pace and the Brian Asamoah undersized heart and hustle linebackers. But back-to-back 116 tackle seasons for Toledo. Was originally at the Ohio State University before transferring. But solid tackler, solid leader, just an absolute ball of energy. Immediately would assist on special teams and could work his way up. So Dallas Gant, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings. So again, recapping our scenario here. Kirko Extendo, JJ extended, Daniil walks in free agency. Reisner, Wanham, and Hicks are back. Same thing with Brandon Powell for free agency. Really hitting things at cornerback. Xavier Howard as well as Sean Murphy-Bunting in this spot. And also they signed Bryce Huff to help out on the edge. And then into that draft. So even with Kirk back on a 2-year deal, getting McCarthy at 11 and letting him sit and marinate for a year, maybe 2, I think it would be huge for the Vikings. Darius Robinson as well as Brennan Jackson, I think eventually will be your starting 4-tech, 5-techs. And Darius Robinson is a man, and he certainly helped himself at the Senior Bowl. I think that he's a guy that just day one has an NFL-ready body, NFL-ready strength that could contribute right away. McKinley Jackson is interesting, where he's a nose tackle. Yes, he's got good size. Yes, he can help against the run, but I think that he can contribute a little something as a pass rusher as well. Has a very quick first step for a dude his size. Also, Mo Kamara on the edge. So, again, we're completely reimagining this front 7. So, think of more Robinson, McKinley, and Jackson. I know it's listed. You drafted 3 edge rushers, but Robinson, Jackson, and Jackson are basically defensive interiors. Think of it that way. Mo Kamara, a little bit undersized, but a whirling dervish of energy on the edge. Just has that nose for the quarterback. So you got Wanham, you got Huff, you got Kamara. And you got PJ2 and AC2 on the edge trying to replace Daniil. I kind of like it. Zach Zenter, absolute size. Maybe on the pup with that leg injury. And the Vikings could have gone a little bit more offensive line, but it is what it is. But Zenter is definitely going to get into the mix at guard for the Vikings. Dylan Johnson. So love his power, love his balance, love his versatility. A better receiver than he gets credit for, and he really. When he went down against Michigan, it really did change things for Washington. Well, and also they got down early. The McCaffrey, a solid underneath possession receiver. Dallas Gant, heart and hustle, linebacker, help out in special teams and add to the linebacker depth. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. There you go. But that's it. 7-round Vikings mock draft. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.